Will is gay.
Well, no shit.
What is going on, guys? It is Cabal Culture Smasher here, and in today's video, this episode of Stranger Things Season 5 was so bad that it finally brought me out of my hiatus from YouTube. I have been away for many months, and honestly, it's because this channel is going through a bit of an identity crisis, not gonna lie. I didn't quite know what I really wanted to put on this channel very much, whether it was going to be news on pop culture, like news on events in the world, or if I wanted to make a long-form content video essay breaking down films that I like and dislike. Honestly, wasn't sure after a while. Things weren't so interesting in the world, and to be honest with you, I was pretty busy going through life. And then Stranger Things Season 5 dropped, and I now have some time because it's winter vacation. And oh my god, dude. To be fair, I've only seen Stranger Things Season 1. Not even the full season. I've seen half of Stranger Things Season 1, okay? And upon hearing about that moment, that coming out scene, as we'll call it, in Stranger Things Season 5, I just had to check out the episode on its own just to see what everybody was talking about. Like, is it really, really that bad? And let me start off by saying, right, even though I have not watched the other 4 seasons of the show, that shouldn't matter. I mean, yeah, you're going to be lost when you're missing literally 4 seasons of television, right, prior to this. You'll be a little bit lost. But ultimately, when you're seeing a finale, what is supposed to be the big build-up just before the final conclusion of something as culturally monumental as Stranger Things, you should be able to at least follow the gist of what is happening, and you should be able to feel the weight of such an event that is happening, right? For instance, you know, I saw Star Wars Revenge of the Sith in the theaters as a 4 or 5-year-old kid. That was my first Star Wars movie I had ever seen. Never heard about Star Wars, never knew about Star Wars. My parents took me to see Revenge of the Sith in theaters, and I immediately fell in love. And I could very clearly identify, just with my limited capacity as a 5-year-old, who was the good guy, who was the bad guy, what is causing the good guy to turn to the dark side, right? I could tell everything that was going on in Anakin to the best of my abilities as a 5-year-old, feeling that Anakin was turning to the darkness to save the people he cared about. I could comprehend that even as a little boy, right? And I never saw a single Star Wars film prior to this. This was my first time. Same with Spider-Man 2. I could comprehend what was happening in Spider-Man, good guys and bad guys, right? A kid should be able to decipher what is going on in a show, even if they don't have much context behind it, right? That is not what this is. I started this show immediately having some serious tonal whiplash, okay? Because Season 1 is like this interesting, almost kind of a horror slasher thriller type of feel. Almost like an episode of Twilight Zone mixed with maybe Black Mirror and a little bit of Halloween, right? Had an interesting horror vibe to it, kind of thriller vibe was going on, right? And you kind of uncovered almost as a detective mystery. And then you flash forward to Season 5, and it's like, whoa, what happened to the aesthetic? What happened to the tone of the show? It is a completely different tone entirely. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on, okay? But that's the thing. I should be able to kind of understand what is generally happening, even if I haven't watched the other seasons. I care a lot more about this little girl called Holly. The little girl that I saw in Season 1 was like basically a little baby toddler. Now she's like basically in middle school, it looks like, almost, running from Vecna. And I care a lot more about that than I did about Max or whatever. And that's problematic. I shouldn't care more about somebody I just met for the first time, right? The last time I saw her, she was literally a toddler, had no character at all. She was just there. I shouldn't care more about somebody I just met than somebody that I know is supposed to be part of your main lineup in the show. That is problem number 1. And I could go on and on about the different problems with characterization. For instance, all of the characters that I grew up with that I cared about in Season 1, basically, like, what have they been turned into, dude? The kids were not geniuses. They were just kids that wanted to care about their friend and find their friend, right? Now all of a sudden they're like science whiz. Like why is Steve Harrington like this cool kid? Why is he now like explaining science and biology and like physics and whatever the shit it is, dude. How did he learn this? Where did he learn this? Why is Nancy Wheeler like Rambo all of a sudden? She was like the cute girl next door in season 1. How did she end up becoming like this character, okay? I can buy Hopper, like, you know, being like this cool badass, right? Because he's a trained cop. But how is this girl, this literal teenage girl, like, how is she shooting guns better than trained army men? All right. And what happened to my boy Matthew Modine? Okay. I mean, I imagine he must have died maybe in the last season. I didn't really know what was going on. Okay. I thought his character was cool. He gets replaced with Linda Hamilton. I know that she shows up in like season 4 or whatever. And basically she's just this carbon copy of him, but worse and a little bit more woke. And like, dude, she is slamming dudes into walls like twice her size, and she's like lecturing them and like, you know, basically getting up in their face and threatening them. And like, dude, I know you were Sarah Connor at one point in time, but you were way past your prime, Linda. I genuinely don't believe your character in this at all. It feels so cringe, and I should feel intimidated. I immediately felt intimidated by Papa in season 1 without even knowing much about him. And he could barely do anything. He basically was just there intimidating Eleven without even really saying much at all, just being a present in the room. Meanwhile, Linda Hamilton seems like she's got a lot to say, and I don't feel scared. But of course, we're all here for the big scene, the big moment, the earth-shattering reveal. Will is gay.
Well, no shit.
Like, we all knew this since season 1, episode 1, 10 years ago, dude. We knew he was gay this entire time. Why is this earth-shattering news? Why is this important? According to the plot, and according to the shills online, this is important because Vecna preys on your worst fears, kind of like Scarecrow's fear gas, basically, from Batman. Will's worst fear is being outed as gay when we already knew this, and being ostracized for being gay when we already knew this. And now he has to reveal to his friends, his family, to everyone, that I am gay. Oh, by the way, Holly is still stuck in the Upside Down or whatever the fuck, the Abyss. I don't know the difference. And by the way, the world's about to end tonight. And we basically have to go to battle, like, right now, but Will's gay. And we're all crying. And God, Winona Ryder, dude, she was like one of my favorite characters in season 1. Her character in this episode is non-existent. Her and Hopper basically get nothing to do. Right? They're non-existent. She's just there to basically affirm Will's sexuality. She's not even really a character. She's just there. And who is this person? Who is this dyke? Why do I care? Apparently she's another sidekick like 11. Why do I care? I thought Mike was down with Elle. Why does it seem like this dyke chick is now having a lesbian love thing going on for 11? Is it something I'm missing? I don't know this person. I don't care about this person. And this person barely has any dialogue. And that is the problem, right? Anybody that does not have context of the show like I do, with very limited context, should be able to drop literally into any episode and at least figure out the characters they care about, what the story is trying to follow, and who it is we're supposed to be following, genuinely, right? I literally don't know what the narrative is trying to present when our characters, the characterization is so unfocused, so unbalanced. There's too many characters, people that I've never seen before from season 1 that I just don't care about. And too much is going on for the audience to really like sit down and breathe in the stakes. The stakes don't feel real because we spend so much time focusing on people walking around, people talking about their feelings, okay? This is not at all interesting, dude. I care so much more about Holly, a character that I never met until this episode because I never watched the other seasons, than the characters I did watch and cared about in season 1. That is problematic. And by the way, the Holly actress, dude, she is giving it her all. I don't know if that's the same little girl from the season 1 that grew up all this time. Correct me if I'm wrong. But man, she is bringing it. Meanwhile, what happened to Millie Bobby Brown's face, dude? Her acting and Will's acting in this honestly seem pretty freaking cringe. Not gonna lie. But yeah, I'm kind of ignorant to the show, and the reason I even got into this season 1 to begin with is because I knew that season 5 was coming out, and I wanted to start watching the show. Now, knowing how terrible the show ends, because I don't think they can resolve this in one last episode at all. This is a pretty terrible episode of television to follow up to it. I don't see necessarily a point to watching the other seasons. And that's really bad, because the same problem happened with Game of Thrones. When I heard how bad Game of Thrones ended, I didn't want to watch Game of Thrones. I never saw Game of Thrones. I would have gotten into it if I had heard how good it ended, if I knew it was a good ending. Now knowing how bad Stranger Things 5 is, I genuinely don't know if I want to go back and watch the other seasons. You have just killed the fan base of a whole new generation that would have appreciated this series of television. So great job, Netflix. You went woke, you went broke, and this time it literally seems like this might be the most rejected woke project ever. I look on social media and I see nothing but people roasting the coming out scene, saying that it's absolutely cringe. And even the people that genuinely are like on the left say this is too forced and unnecessary and detracts from the plot. When even your normies, the people that you shill for, even they are saying this is bad, then you know that it's bad. Never have I ever seen anything woke rejected this badly. I think not even Cuties got this much backlash. But yeah. This brought me out of hiatus because I couldn't believe how bad this episode of television was. Let me know what you guys thought about it. Anyway, guys, that was the video. I'm not sure if I'll come back to this channel soon. We'll see. I don't even know what this channel is anymore, to be honest with you. I just thought I'd come on and rant about this. But yeah, thanks for watching the video. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys around.